Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I feel like a YouTuber today. So this is our fourth meeting. It's about basic notion in semantics. Okay, let's move on to the subtopic. So communication and language. For many authors, Cruz among others, meaning makes little sense except in the context of communication. In consequence, the notion is a simple model of communication is introduced following Leon 1995, Cruz 2000, and explain how if language is conceived of as a sign system. A simple model is representing the process of communication serves to put meaning in context. This includes the speaker who has something to communicate, that is a message. However, since a message in its initial form cannot be transmitted directly, it has to be converted into a signal. In oral language, this involves linguistic encoding, which in turn involves translating the message into linguistic form and also translating the linguistic form into a set of instruction to the speech organ so that the signal is executed via an acoustic signal. And it is the process of linguistic codification of meaning that we are most interested in these first two lessons. And then the different units of analysis: words, utterance, sentence, proposition, and text. When dealing with the nature of meaning, Cruz and Leon agreed that it is difficult to define this concept. The definition of word as meaningful unit poses several problems since different criteria come into play in the definition of word. Leon differentiates word from expression. He proposed that words as expression can be defined as composite units that have both form and meaning, and suggests a more technical term, lexeme. It must be noted that not all lexemes are words and that not all words are lexeme. Leon points out that it is word expression and not word form that are listed in the dictionaries. They are traditionally known as head words or dictionary entries. This distinction is related to the type of token distinction. We will take the definition of word as a basic starting point. That is, we will take word expression as the basic word definition and we will identify them also as dictionary entries. So according to Cruz, how most people have the intuition that meaning is intimately bound up with individual word, that is what words are for. If we study meaning in language, we are forced to consider that we are talking of different types of meaning depending on the different unit of analysis we are referring to. Even if defining a word is not an easy task, and one could try and say what the prototypical word is, a word can be defined as a minimal permutable elements. Words are most of the time separated by silent in spoken English, in space writing, so we can also identify word as a dictionary entries. In Unit 5, we will learn more about the difference between word, lexeme, and forms. Utterance, sentences, and proposition, and text. The difference between utterance, sentences, and proposition is essential one. The three terms are used to describe difficult level of abstraction in language. An utterance is created by speaking or writing a piece of language. It can also be said that utterance is any stretch of talk by one person before and after which there is silence on the part of that person. If someone says, "Today is Tuesday," in a room, this is one utterance. If another person in the same room also says, "Today is Tuesday," in the same room, that is another utterance. Herford comments that it would, Herford is a linguist, also a linguist. He comments that it would make sense to say that an utterance was in a particular accent, for example, a particular way of pronouncing words. However, it would not make strict sense to say that a sentence was in a particular accent, because a sentence itself is only associated with phonetic characteristics such as accent and voice quality through a speaker's act of uttering it. Accent and voice quality belong strictly to the utterance, not to the sentence uttered. And then let's move on to the next part. It's about meaning and sentence, utterance, and proposition. A sentence is a string of words put together by a grammatical of rules of a language expressing a complete thought. It is neither physical event nor a physical object. For example, "I am a student." An utterance is any sound of talk that human produce. The characteristic of utterance are: it is spoken, physical event, maybe grammatical or not, meaningful or meaningless, by specific person, by specific time, a piece of language. To differentiate utterance and sentence, we usually use quotation mark. Question mark. Okay. Quotation mark. Tak, tak. In written form of utterance. For example, a piece of utterance that is spoken by certain person: "I am a student." A proposition is that part of meaning of the utterance of a declarative sentence which describes more state of affair. Beside declarative sentence, proposition also clearly involve in the meaning of interrogative and imperative sentence. For example, "Get out of here this minute. I'm afraid that I have to ask you to leave." In this two sentence, the speaker asserted proposition. Okay, next. I still have a lot of things to do, but I only have 7 until 10 minutes, so I want you to look at your module because it will be more specific for you. And then yeah, I think that's all for today. It's just the approach of session 4, and then you can see from your module for the further information. Okay, I think that's all for today. Bye bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.